Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello, John. Randy. What's up, Randy? Felicia, good to see you. Hello, hello. So glad you guys are here. Good morning, good morning. Let me get that icebreaker question going. How many non-responsive leads would you guess you have right now in your database? So just people that you've reached out to and they have not reached back. Randy, I knew your number was gonna be crazy. Uh, Drop that in the chat, everybody. How many? Felicia, give me a guess. A guess. 100, 200, give me a number. 500, okay. Divya, 700. Christine, 400 plus. John, 250. K, 225. Yeah. So non-responsive leads. So these are people that you reached out to, maybe once, maybe twice, right? And they have not responded. What the heck? What's their problem? Who do they think they are? Bunch of jerks. You're like, come on, I'm just trying to do my job here. Okay? The least you could do is respond, right? Celia says 100. I love it. We got a pretty wide spread. I think Randy's got the winning number right now, 8,000. It's actually a great thing to have, guys, just so you know. Um, and hopefully you're going to feel that by the end of this call. It is a wonderful thing to have a bunch of people that have not responded to you. The hard thing is to have people who responded to you and said, F off and things like that, because you don't need that negativity in your life, right? But the truth is that people who have not responded to you, it's not that bad. It's really not. It's just, it feels bad because most of us don't know what to do about it. And we kind of project our frustration of non response onto them and onto others, right? We tend to just be like that. It's human nature, right? We often um, point our frustrations at the wrong people. Diane says, I've got 8,002. Oh my gosh. Okay. Randy got some competition. We got so many people coming in. Welcome, everybody. I'm trying to admit you all as fast as I can. Thank you, those who are jumping in, already dropping their numbers. Jay says 250. Kyle says 1,290. I love the specificity of it. Is that right? Specific, right? I love it. We give about another minute for everybody to get in here. And then we'll get started. Lauren says 1,600. I was thinking you're going to be up there, Lauren. I was thinking so. With all the times you've come to our class and all the lead generation you've put into practice, I figured you'd have a pretty good number up there. You guys should have a large portion of non-responsive leads, by the way. Okay, so this is not a, oh my gosh, I'm so ashamed. This is like, oh my gosh, here's opportunity. I actually love teaching this class, in particular, because it was just such a problem in my life. And I got so tired of just always having to generate an absurd amount of new leads. Now, you should always be generating new leads, to be clear. That should be something you always do, one way or another. But I had to do an absurd amount. So my database was around, by my second year in real estate, okay, my database was around 30,000 people. Most people will never reach that in their entire career, even if they're a top producer. Randy probably knows some teams that don't have databases that big. But that's what I thought I had to do. That's the way I was taught in real estate. It was just keep generating an absurd amount of leads and something will click, right? Okay, 5 minutes after, let's get to this because I respect your time, you respect my time, and we all have a good time. All right, let's get to it. So this is for all the agents that have tried reaching out to maybe social media leads and they never responded. Maybe they get some engagement on something. It could be a text, it could be a campaign, it could be a newsletter, and then you get ghosted. Okay, well, that's annoying, right? Or you just don't know what to say beyond just, hey, just checking in, right? Anybody relate to that? I know, I do. Okay, right? Randy, 30K is absolutely more than enough. 10K is more than enough. Yeah. So before we get into it, guys, 4 commitments, as many of you know, because I see some amazing regulars here, and it's so good to see your faces. Let's get to your 4 commitments for being on this call. Number 1 is video on. Let's get those videos on. Thank you. I'm going to just go down the line thanking John, Randy, Felicia for having your video on. Lauren, Pamela, it looks like you're trying. I see a green screen, but it looks like you're trying. Michelle, Rhonda, Eeyore, is I'm saying that right? Or is the H silent? Eeyore. I don't know. You tell me. Ricky, Celia, Gary, Brenda, thank you so much for having your video on. And then everybody else who can get your video on, get your video on. And for those who don't have video, I'm going to take you at your word. And thank you so much. Again, it fuels me. Just to be clear, I have no packages to sell you today. I have no courses, no training. I don't have anything to sell you. So you just turning on your video and engaging fuels me and helps me to just keep going because this is my way to just give back. So I appreciate it. Next is number 2, distractions off. You are way too smart to make time to show up on a call just to be distracted. No way. So if you have things that are distracting you, close them, shut them off, turn them away. Put the dogs outside of the room. Put the kids outside of the house. Wait, is that the other way around? Get the most out of this. Participate. That's not for me. That's for you. I already know this stuff. Okay? I already know this stuff. I am participating because I'm teaching it. Participate so you absorb more, you understand more. And participation means basically just answering the questions and asking the questions. Okay? And the most important of all, okay? Go make someone else's day. Go bless someone else in your life. Okay? If they're a difficult person, bonus points to you. Okay? Just go do the thing, get it done. All right. So this is kind of the moment, you open your CRM, you see a name, and you know you should follow up with them. This is kind of what happened to me. So you just type, hey, just checking in. Hope you're doing well. And hit send. Anybody? Anybody? That was me. That was what my follow-up was. Okay. For so long. And then I would get frustrated because I'd feel productive for 3 seconds. I did it. I followed up with them. Yeah. Go me. Right. And then that never turns into anything. And then it kind of just fades away. That feeling of accomplishment kind of just fades away. And I'm like, was that productive? Am I doing the right thing? Because why am I not seeing the results? And remember, the results aren't a sale in the context right now. The results are that someone talks to you. What is going on, right? What's going on? Okay. Drop an X in the chat if you can relate to that at all. Okay. Drop an X in the chat if that's you and you're like, yes, I can relate. Yep, I am seeing it. I am seeing it. I figured. I figured that's you guys. That's why I brought this up. Okay. This is a universal problem, right? All right. So you know what that means. You got to say it with me. Ready? Things need to change, right? And here's the good news. They will. And it's going to start with your value proposition. I do not like those words, but they are accurate. I feel like they've been overused. Okay. It starts with your value proposition. So let me first give you a couple facts. Personalized outreach gets up to 142% higher response rates than generic messages. Would you say that's a pretty significant increase? That's not marginal, right? That's a lot of more people, a lot more people reaching out to you. Okay. Number 2 is 80% of sales happen after 5 or more follow-ups. Now, there's a lot of different ways, numbers that are around this, but the real point is it happens after multiple follow-ups before someone ever even makes a decision. Okay? And most agents quit after one follow up. And I bet if we checked your database, you can check mine. I'm totally accountable. There's a whole lot of people that got 0 to 1 follow-ups from you. And then there's a small amount of people who got more than that. And I bet you the small amount of people who got more follow-ups were people who ended up producing a result that you were looking for. Okay. And then number 3 is 78% of buyers work with the first agent. This has been butchered and is incorrect, by the way. It's not the first person they actually talk to. It's the first person who provides them value. Here's how I can prove that. Okay. That stat is everywhere. Every CRM in the world typically will use that stat. They'll work with the first person that responds to them. Anybody heard that stat? Raise your hand, drop it in the chat if that's you. Now it's almost correct. But here's the thing. People have talked to real estate agents 100 times before they actually use a real estate agent. So it's not the first real estate agent that they talk to. And the reason why I'm telling you that is speed is important in most aspects of all businesses, right? If you had to sit in the drive-thru at McDonald's for 2 hours, you would consider that a failure and that would leave a negative experience. If you get through quick, you are very happy, right? Speed is always an important aspect of our business, fulfillment of services. But I don't want people to get discouraged. I've had agents who are like, well, it's been too long. I'm not going to follow up with them. Because speed to lead, well, there's no point. Right? So that's why I put that stat in there for you. And I wanted to clarify speed is absolutely important. You should be quick. You should be timely. But the opportunity is not missed if you don't get that initial window. The opportunity just shifts. Okay? All right. Because today isn't about following up more, just to be clear. It's about following up with something that actually matters. The more will come from that. Okay, so let's get into step 1. So step 1 is I want you guys to do this with me. We're going to walk through this together, okay? Select one person from your database. Many of you should have someone in your head right now or kind of know who is a lead maybe you got from social media that has not responded to you, a lead that's ghosted you. That totally works fine too. But yeah, just think of that person. And if you want to put their first name in the chat just to help you have something to focus on, you can. First name, don't give last names. But drop their first name in the chat. And if it's a figurative person, fine. Put my name, Robert. Says Tiffany. There we go. All right, this helps. Remember, this is rule number 3 of being on the call is engaging. Rhonda says Jordan. There we go. So this is someone that has, right? They have not responded to you. Gary, man, I'm sorry I haven't responded to you. I love it. I love it. Shay, Michaela, Cameron, right? There we go. Thank you, guys. This is awesome. You don't even know, but your brain is already growing just by you participating right now. You're already improving. Did you know that? I just have to tell you that. Did you know you're already improving just by doing these little actions? All right. So you wrote down the first name. The next step is I want you to think about the platform that you connected with them on. This is just important so you have a direction of how to reach them, okay? So what platform did you connect them? It could be text, it could be Facebook, it could be TikTok, it could be email. How did you connect with this non-responsive lead or this lead that ghosted you, right? It's been 6 months since they last responded, right? So how did you connect with them? It's important, right? And to give you an example, right? I'm going to use a Facebook lead that I was working. His name's Jack. I found him on Facebook. And in particular, I saw him in the Moving to Tennessee Facebook group, one of my many groups with Chris Rains. We've got over 1 million people across all our groups now. Pretty crazy. So that's how it works. Okay. So now I want you guys to do the same thing, right? So Jack, found him on Facebook. And then what was it? If you can remember, if you can't remember, it's fine. But if you can remember, it's very helpful to know what the context of how you saw them, right? Did they make a post about looking for an agent? Did they make a post saying what kind of schools, right? How did you find them? Pamela, great job. Zillow lead. Perfect. Identify, what the context was of how you You found this person. Okay. I'm going to move fast, guys, because I want to leave time for this because there's lots of things I'm sure I'm going to need to clarify. Okay. All right. So now, step two, why did you reach out to them? You might be thinking, why are you asking that? Duh, I need a sale. Okay. Well, I think that's the obvious thing. But why did you reach out to them? Okay. So keeping my scenario going. So we've got Jack, Facebook, moving to Tennessee Facebook group. He made a post. So I reached out to him because he made a post about looking for a realtor to help his family move to Tennessee from out of state. And I obviously wanted to help him find a home here. Duh. Pretty obvious, right? Right? But for some of you, there may be a different reasons. Not all of them are as obvious as mine. Some of them may be someone who is asking about great events for their kids on the weekends or a recommendation of a local church. So, do you follow me why it's important to know the reason why you reached out? You need to know the reason you reached out. That's very important. It actually sets the tone. Okay. So, again, some of you may, the lead may be nothing to do with real estate, why you reached out to them. So, that's why I put that in there. Everybody follow me so far. Give me a thumbs up if you're on camera, and then a thumbs up in the chat if you are still awake and you are still present and you're following me, because I know I'm going fast, but I really want to get to where we need to go with this and make sure you get the most value. Present and correct. Ruth says, I'm a correct. I love it. Just teasing you, Ruth. All right, let's keep going. So, step three, what did you say to them? Now we're going to get into the good stuff. And I love talking about this good stuff here, okay? So I want you to write down what you said to them. You don't have to do that in the chat because it might be long. You also might not remember. But if you want to paraphrase essentially what you said to them, I'm going to use myself again as an example. So remember, we've got Jack. I found him on Facebook inside the Moving to Tennessee Facebook group. He made a post about looking for a realtor to help his family move to Tennessee from out of state, and I want to help him find a home here. Okay, here's the comment that I left. Hey, Jack, I'm a local real estate agent in Tennessee, born and raised, would love to help. I didn't actually say born and raised. I added that one because I see that one a lot in Tennessee in particular. So, right, but I would love to help. Okay. And then for many of you, you probably, if you're proactive, you're going to send a DM as well. And it's probably going to be very similar, right? Saw your post, want to reach out, see if you had any questions about real estate. Okay. Anybody kind of have that vibe too, right? On these types of posts? Let me know in the chat if that's you. Just type yes in the chat if that's you. I just want to know. I want to make sure that you guys are resonating with me. Okay, good. Because if you did it, you said you wouldn't, I wouldn't believe you. And here's why. I have seen thousands, and Randy probably has too, thousands upon thousands of comments. And I'm going to tell you something. It's a very harsh truth. You probably already know it. They're almost all the same. They're almost all the same. Now, I'm going to pause right there. How are you supposed to stand out if you sound like everybody else? Genuine question. Now, many of us know that when we sit here on a call together, right? We go, duh, of course. Then why does our follow-up not apply that? Why does our follow-up reflect that we are just like every other agent out there? But let's be real, and I hope you answer honestly. Are you like every other agent out there? Or do you bring something unique to the table? Do you bring a unique perspective, a unique connection, a unique process, system, skill set? Type yes or no. Are you unique or are you generic? And by the way, I want to make something really clear. It's okay if right now you're generic, as long as you don't stay there. Most agents are generic at first. They don't know who they are in real estate. They don't know what they're called to do in real estate. So they're kind of a copy of whatever training they received, but they haven't really figured out that. So if you're generic, that's not an insult. Okay? It means that you're still discovering, and we're going to build through that today. Okay? Pamela, love the honesty. I am probably generic until someone meets me in person. Let's go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for that honesty, right? And I actually think a lot of us are like that. I know top agents who their online presence or their non in person communication is absolutely generic. And in person, that's when they get to see the personality. But here's the thing, the personality, that's like your third date, right? What about date number one and two? How do you get to those? Right? You have to get through those to get through being able to meet someone in person. Most people are not just going to let you walk into their home as a stranger, right? And meet most people, you can't just randomly call someone and say, "Hey, I'll see you at the coffee shop at 9." And just to expect this stranger that you randomly called is just going to show up. Right? And that's an interesting lead gen strategy to try, though. I'm kind of tempted now. I'm kind of tempted to call strangers and then just be like, "Hey, I'll see you at Just Loves at 9 a.m." And then they go, "Huh? What? I think you have the wrong number." Really? Well, listen. Do you like coffee? I'm kind of tempted to try that now. Okay, I'm getting off topic. I have fun. All right, so let's keep going. So now we're going to dissect what we just went through. Okay, so what value did you bring? So again, we're going to use myself as an example. So I said, Jack, saw your post and wanted to reach out, right, if you have any real estate questions. Or, hey, Jack, I'm a local real estate agent in Tennessee, born and raised, would love to help. Those are not bad things, right? But those are also self-serving things. Okay, so now I want you all to ask yourself this really powerful question. Why should Jack respond to me? And this you should apply every time you reach out to someone, calling, texting, email, or at the end of your appointment. What did I say or do that made it worth Jack even giving me a like, much more a comment or a response of any sort? Here's the thing, most of us don't ever stop to think about that. We kind of have this idea that people should just do it because it's us. But that doesn't actually make sense when we think about it, right? Because you don't do that, right? When you make decisions, you think through those decisions. You don't buy everything at Home Depot. You look for the specific thing, the most relevant thing, the most valuable thing for your needs, right? Of course. Okay. So I had to go through this process of saying, and this is what I want you to write down, okay? And this is what I want you to practice going forward. Jack should respond to me over other agents, and this is me being honest. This is how I dissected it. Jack should respond to me over other agents because I'm a local agent and I know the area. Okay, remember, I'm not saying that's correct yet. I'm saying I'm writing down what the compelling reasons were for Jack. Felicia's got it. That's right. Still generic. That doesn't sound very compelling, does it? If you really think about it, right? Well, there's a lot of other local agents. So, right? So, but yet, how many of you have either done or seen or both been the person who goes, I'm local. I'm a real estate agent. I'd love to help you. Anybody guilty? Okay. Now, here's the thing I'm going to give you. Duh. You do realize that people already assume that about you. They already assume you're local. Nobody is in Tennessee asking for help thinking that you are in LA. So you're giving them information that is useless information, and then you're leaving out information that is useful, right? So let's keep going. So now we accept the hard truth, right? My compelling reasons for Jack to respond were all about me. Ready for the hard truth, guys? And we need to really take this in because it's a hard truth, but it's a good truth. Jack doesn't care about me. Jack doesn't care about me. And that's okay. Jack's not required to care about me. But he doesn't care about me. Jack only cares about what I can do for Jack. So don't you think that maybe our follow-up, maybe how we lead gen, maybe how we do these things should reflect the person we're reaching out to not us. Anybody see those comments from the big dogs, the big teams and stuff where they go, number one team in this, sold X amount of homes and all that stuff? Anybody see that? No, tell me in the chat. Hopefully I'm not the only one. Randy, of course, has seen that for forever. Now, let me tell you, they are some of the easiest people ever for me to beat out for leads and appointments. And do you know why? Because everything is about them. Let me ask you this, John. I'm going to ask you, okay? All right, so I'm the number one team. And by the way, I run the number one team in Tennessee and number one in volume and units at Epic. And I never tell people that unless they ask. Because, John, if I come to you and I go, John, I'm number one this and I'm number one that, you should work with me. Now, John, how did I actually offer you value? How is that relevant to you? And I'm going to unmute you. Let's have that. It's a genuine question. All right, so I'm going to ask you to unmute. All right, so how is that relevant to you?
Not relevant at all.
Now, it sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but that's like, hey, my neighbor has a Corvette, and therefore my life is better for it. Wait, huh? Well, that doesn't, that, but it's not my Corvette, and my neighbor's not letting me drive it. A team that sold 1,500 homes is great objectively for the team, but how is it great for the individual? How does 1,500 home sales in a year for a team or a top producing agent or anything that you do directly correlate to value for you, John? I have yet to meet a team who can tell us how their sales numbers directly help an individual. And good teams understand that, and good teams lead with people.
See where Pamela comments. She says, when I hear that, I think if you're that busy, you probably don't have time for me.
Right. Right. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Thank you, John. I just like talking to people. And Randy, again, I love that you're here because you're gonna love that, especially you know this. I mean, a huge of your value proposition, right, is making it more personal, is bringing people into the fold, and saying make it unique to the individual, make it specialized, but you can still have a system and process for doing that. Randy, I gotta get you on here sometime. All right, so my unique reason for Jack to reach out and respond to me was the same reason that every other agent in existence gave him. Oh gosh, well, that's not that unique. I provided zero value, and in fact, I made it all about me. Right? And so here's something crazy that you need to think about. People buy our services with time and trust, not money. The commission comes after. Okay, right? If you go order a product anywhere else, you pay for the product, it gets shipped, right? It gets sent. You get that. People get our work and we have no guarantee if we're going to get paid. Even with our contracts and all of that, let me tell you, there are very few agents in existence who have successfully gotten a commission back from a buyer's rep agreement and all that. Okay. All right. And the reason why I tell you that is that you need to remember that the people are not looking at you as a product. They're looking at you as a tool. Different thing, different mindset. Okay. So a different way that I like to put it is we sell leads our value proposition and they buy it with their time and trust. Right? That's what we're doing. All right, now let's keep moving. All right, so knowing what value really is. Now we got to get into it. Okay, Robert, you said all the stuff. Now give us something to actually take away and fix the dead lead problem. Okay? Now, I wonder if Randy, you might know this, Randy, actually. And if you don't, it's okay. But if you do know this, Randy, I'd be curious. The percentage of leads that respond, not talking about through the app, but in general, I mean, do you kind of know those numbers off the top of your head? It's okay if you don't. Just respond at all. So engagement at all. So like you reach out one time, and then how many typically respond to that one time. And I'll give you guys a hint. It's absurdly low. Absurdly low. Felicia, 5% wouldn't be bad, actually. Wouldn't be bad. Basically, guys, it's the same as lead gen. It's very similar to lead gen, right? Love it, Randy, bringing in those realistic numbers. It takes about 25 plus touches to convert leads on average, right? So then you can imagine the response rate is going to be right around 1%, and that's okay. You can work with that. So 5%, Felicia, would be amazing, right? 5% in lead gen response rate is amazing. It's very similar numbers in that regard. So now let's get back to this. I need to change how I talk to Jack. Now I can still say I do need to be the source of something, right? But I need to be the source of something that benefits Jack, not the source of talking about Robert in general or Robert's achievements, right? So now let's see how this would change if I went and did, and I've done all of these things, by the way. That's where these come from. With my lead gen chains like this, Jack should respond to me over other agents because I have a guidebook called Everything You Need to Know About Moving to Tennessee. How about this? I have a list of incentives for new construction builders in Tennessee. I've got excellent programs like a lenders with buy down, zero down payment, and closing costs. Right? How about my brokerage offers pay at closing loans? Misspell right there. For buy before you sell. Right? How about I have everything they need for moving to Tennessee, taken from the guidebook. So basically telling them I have the moving company, the internet provider, the job network, right? How about this? I have a moving package. This is one of my biggest hits that I tested out, and then it became just a hit. I have a moving package that I send to all my clients to help with their move. Everything else that I just put on that list is all about a tangible value that they can actually directly receive. It's not perceived value. It's not assumed value. It's a real tangible thing that they can get. And the vast majority of it's free to make. Okay? And what happened is when I started doing that, I literally saw a 70 to 80% increase in people responding. And I got addicted to value propositions and creating the craziest, most awesome ways to reach people. Okay? Military relocation clients, oh, John, gold. The way you can present value for them is amazing. Okay? So let me keep going. Oh, okay. All right, so let's stay on this real quick. I know we went through a lot of things. I have more slides than I normally do. It's really hard to get to this stage without doing those other slides because I kind of need to prep your brain and get you thinking that mindset. So now, when you go to your lead gen, when you go to your follow-up, right, find a way to make something for them that's useful. Find something useful to send them. Now, I want you guys to go back to that person that you wrote down earlier. Okay, this is why I had you do that. And genuinely, right now, together, okay, let's go through, and if you're struggling, I'm going to help you. Let's go through the thing of value you can give them today. What can you give them that's actually valuable, that solves a problem in their life? And by the way, it doesn't have to always be real estate related. If you are a problem solver, that builds trust, even if you're just solving small problems, big problems, middle problems, whatever. Middle problems, medium problems. Okay? So, would anyone like some help? Want to come? You have to have your video on, but would anyone like to come on and have me help them maybe with what they're going through? Maybe think of a value proposition. Anybody like to do that? If so, you can do your raise your hand or type me in the chat or something. But if anybody is struggling and wants a little help, and I'll walk you through how to think this process. And then we also have a bunch of questions coming up. Video texts are amazing, but they have to be personal. Absolutely. You know what? What's funny is hey you just doesn't work in general. Even if it's not business related. People just don't like being called, hey, you. I'm a person. I have a name, right? Okay. I'm going to give you an amazing stat. Okay. It's not a stat, sorry, an amazing fact. I just don't know the stats. So in Japan, a very formal country, Randy, you might even like this too. Very formal country. And I've been on Japanese magazines, Japanese TV, and I have some Japanese family, so I know this experience very well. Once women become married, they almost never hear their name again because the way that formalities work is that they are the wife of, the mother of, right? They are known by their title. And in Japan, they did this um, thing where they filmed women and their spouse saying their name. And about 50% of the women just cried because they hadn't heard their name for some of them years. Now, right now, we're sitting in a multitude of generations, particularly Gen Z, but it's actually through all generations now. We are the loneliest people ever that we've ever been. We are the most connected and the most lonely people ever. Your personalization is deep, even if it's not complex. Take the time. Okay, take the time. Now let's get into it. Someone asked a question. I want to hear more about the moving package, Lauren. I knew you'd like that, Lauren. I will gladly share it with you guys. Let me tell you how it works, okay? First, let me tell you how it came about. I wanted a better way to get social media clients and have clients to share their story on social media in a very positive, unique way, right? I got tired of the same closing pictures, holding the sign, bought the house, great. Because I was worried that I just kept doing things that made me look like every other agent. And I really don't want a reputation of being like every other agent. Here, I'll be honest with you. I think I'm better. Don't you think that my social media and my strategies should reflect that then? Prove it, right? Is that not the fair statement? You think you're so good? Prove it. I will. I will prove it. Okay, that's my job, right? That's all of our jobs. Prove it. Prove it. Prove it you're worth it. Okay, so the other thing I noticed too is that during a transaction, people get into lulls. They kind of start to break down at times. Okay. They kind of start to fall apart. They get tired. They get weary. They get overwhelmed. And I noticed that people tend to forget about boxes when they move. They almost always forget about boxes. And you're like, okay, what does that have to do with anything? Is it not a problem if they can't move their stuff? We kind of need them to be able to move their stuff. Now, do you want your client to have more frustration or less frustration? Less frustration, obviously. Okay. Do you want them to think more positively about you? Obviously, yes. Okay. So I just identified 3 ways we can do that all into one. I created a moving package. I would go get boxes. I would get a bulk package of a bunch of different types of tape, a marker. Okay. You can buy all this stuff in bulk. Okay. And then some bubble wrap. Okay. And then I would personally deliver to their home, unless they're out of state, and then I can ship it to them. Personally deliver to their home this little moving package. Then I would take a picture of their glowing faces because I remembered something they had forgotten, and I delivered it to them personally. And then people started to do exactly what you guys just did. Tell me more about that moving package. Isn't that funny how it worked on you too? Right? So I started doing that and it just resonated with people. What's also cool is that they told other people about the moving package and not about the closing. You know why? Because the closing's a given. If you hire an agent, don't you assume you're going to close with the agent? Right? So why is that a story to be told? There's nothing unique about it. Yeah, I did the thing that everybody does, assumed. But this gave them something unique to talk about. Oh, Robert was great. He was so helpful. Oh my gosh. He actually showed up at our house with a bunch of boxes. It was so helpful. He helped us. It doesn't cost me much money, right? And I do it late term in the process, right? They're under contract. They've gotten through most of the things because most people aren't packing a ton. A lot of them still do it towards the end. Okay. All right. So that's real quick the moving package, right? And then I use that to advertise. I use that to remind people. I put it in my listing presentations and buyer presentations, like all of that. I did that. So Kari, I hope I'm saying your name right. Right. So this is about providing value. So prospects, clients, right? Someone asked that about it. I use moving packages to get leads. I use moving packages to get people to respond to me. All right. So let me give Lauren an example. Okay, Lauren, and so she is someone maybe I met at church. We met at church. She kind of briefly talked about real estate and then she stopped responding. Lauren, come on. We're going to have a great time. You're going to love working with me. All right. So, what I would start to do is once I saw that clients loved it, what's the next reasonable conclusion? Future clients will love it. Right. So, I said, okay, hey, Lauren. And I take a picture of Felicia, who I just helped, holding the moving package, right? A smile on her face, gratitude in her heart. And I would send that to Lauren, who is not my client yet. And I'd go, hey, Lauren, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but most people forget boxes. And I want you to know I got you covered. When you're ready, I got you covered. I got some boxes for you, some bubble wrap. I'm going to take good care of you. And the response rate is crazy because one, there's social validation. Felicia chose me and she was happy with me. Right. And then three is I'm solving Lauren's problem for her. She knows that she's going to need boxes. We all know this. So it's not hard. It's not hard to get people to buy into the value of something like that. Right. So it helps tremendously. Okay. So Kari, hopefully that helps. So now let me go over some of the other ones to explain to you. So everything you know now about moving to Tennessee, this is a guide that you can make for your state. Because if you work with people who come from out of state, they're going to want to know. Now you might think, well, they can just Google it. They can use ChatGPT. Yeah. For all eternity, we have always been able to do a large majority of things ourselves. You guys could probably look up on YouTube how to fix some of your plumbing or car problems. And some of you do. Most people, they hire a plumber, right? They hire a mechanic. Okay. People like to be served and we like to have things curated for us, right? We would prefer that Netflix show more relevant things to us, not less. We like curation. We like customization. So I created this guide because there were people coming from California and Chicago and New York, surprise, right? And they were moving here to Tennessee and I needed a way to stand out. And what I noticed is nobody was actually providing them any value. They were just saying, I'm a local agent. Use me, born and raised. And it was like, well, how's that relevant? Who cares? I already assumed you're a local agent and whether you were born and raised, what does that matter? How is that valuable? If you actually think about it, isn't that kind of a weird thing? Like, so? Like, do you know whether the employees or your doctor was born and raised here? Do you care? No, just do a great job, please. I don't care if you moved yesterday. All right. So then what we do is that I created these guides. Okay. In Canva. AI didn't exist at the time, so I handmade them all myself. So you guys got it way easier. I created a little guide that says everything you know about moving Tennessee. I broke down a bunch of simple stuff that came. Again, ChatGPT can do this. Just rewrite it in your own words. Otherwise, they'll know it's AI. It needs to sound like you. And then I would tell people, I would say, Jack, excited to have you coming. I have a guide, everything you need to know about Tennessee with some really important things you don't want to miss. That's literally what I would say. Now tell me, is that more compelling than, hey, I'm a local agent, would love to help? Which one's more compelling to you? Mine, right? There's a value being offered. There's a service. There's a problem being solved. Plus, I also use FOMO with some really important things you don't want to miss out on. Some really important things you need to know. Oh, crap. What do I need to know about moving to Tennessee? Right? You guys follow me on this? Do you see why my response rates got higher? Do you see why even out of 450 comments, I would still win? Do you see how even though Gary Ashton, who's a great team leader, number one Remax team in the world, and I would typically beat out his agents almost every single time? Not because he's a bad team or a bad team leader. It's because they had a process that worked for the team. I had a process that worked for you. For you. Right? For you, Pamela. For you, John and Felicia and Lauren. My process was built for you, Rhonda. I built it for you. Do you know why I built it for you? Because I actually think you're valuable. And that's a heart shift. Okay? I get emotional when I talk about this stuff because we're taught to treat others as transactions. And then we wonder why we're treated like a transaction. We wonder why someone doesn't show up to the showing and they ghost us. Why? Well, you treated them like a transaction. They're going to treat you like a transaction. Cancel the transaction. Refund the transaction. I'm a Christian. Treat others the way you want to be treated, right? Things that God's been working on me. Consider others more important than yourselves. This is all stemming from that. And if you're a Christian or not, that's fine. I just want you to know what shifted in me. And when I started to view others as important and valuable, regardless of whether they viewed me the same, I made way more money and I had way happier clients. I converted leads faster because now it's reflected in my work. Everything that I built was reflected in proving to them that they are important and valuable. And even if they couldn't articulate the words, they felt it. They felt it. Right? The incentives for new construction builders in Tennessee. New construction for a lot of people is a great option, especially right now. They'll do buy downs. They'll cover closing costs, right? The home may be expensive, but a lot of times it's getting into the home that's one of the hardest things for people to do. They can't cover the closing costs. They can't cover all this other stuff. They might be able to take care of the payment because their rent's just as high, but they can't handle getting into the home. Okay, so then I made a list of new construction and all the incentives they had, right? And then I'd go, hey, Rhonda, I'm so excited for you to be moving here. I have a list of all of the new construction people, builders in whatever city, we'll say Murfreesboro, where I live, right? In Murfreesboro, that cover down payments, closing costs, rate buy downs, and everything else you need to get into the home you're looking for. I'll DM you and send it. Right? Do you think I beat the agents who again said, hey, I'm number one? Right? I'm the best. I'm amazing. I'm local. I'm this. I'm that. I'm this. I don't think they mean it in a bad way. It's just that they're still seeing what they want from Rhonda versus saying, what can I give to Rhonda and how can I serve Rhonda and how can I make Rhonda the most important person in the moment? And so that's why I did work. And other agents will go, well, that's a lot of work. And I said, well, yeah, it's my job. My job tends to be a lot of work. Were you expecting not to work? Well, how'd you convert so many people? I mean, well, because I made people important. And when people feel important, that makes them feel good. That makes them feel trusted. That makes them feel valued. And they want to work with me. And what's cool about everything that I'm showing you is it's so easy to replicate. I can use the same exact guide, everything you need to know about moving to Tennessee, for every single person that is moving to Tennessee from out of state. So thinking about one person ends up helping me to think about all of these people that fit that particular, right? The new construction builders. Once I make the list and create the habit, it's available for as long as it's relevant, right? You just update it as you go. It's available to all people who care, which, by the way, a lot of your buyers, great tool for them. So it's even good for warm leads to use it on, right? So these things that we create, I hope you're really taking home because I know that this is probably not a typical call that you're used to. A typical call is a silver bullet type of attitude, right? Well, if you just use this one script, most of you know me now. You know that I'm the number one this and the number one that. You know I've had all of these amazing guests. You know I've had thousands upon thousands of agents. You know that we've even coached agents in Australia, in Canada, in Mexico, and they crush it. Most of the agents that come to these classes follow the process. Remember, I have nothing to sell you, so this is not going to a sales pitch. I have nothing to sell you. They make 2 to 5 times as much as their peers locally. So the reason why I'm telling you this is that I'm not here to waste your time. This works. If you want to make more money, then be more intentional about serving people. Increase your quality. Once you get to a certain amount of leads, you don't need an absurd amount more. That's what lead gen companies sell you. That's what teams and other things that only have leads as value to give to you sell you on. We're number one for my small little team. We're number one in units and volume, and we don't even provide leads. Huh? That's not normal. And we give more back to our agents because we don't provide leads. Why would I charge them more for something I don't pay for? That doesn't make sense to me. Right? All right. So anybody got some questions? Actually, hold on real quick. Do you understand what I communicated today? Is it crystal clear, or is there things that are not clear and maybe you could use some help on? I want to take good care of you. I want to make sure that I have served you well today. That's important to me. So you can be honest and tell me if there's things you're like, I don't get it, or it doesn't make sense, or I disagree. Diane says, have you had anyone take the list? I'm assuming the new construction center list and go without you. Absolutely. My job is not to work with people who don't want to work with me. My job is to work with people who do want to work with me. If they take the list and run, they were going to be a problem anyway. Those are not I don't want to work with people like that. Absolutely not. No, thank you. I'm not saying they're wrong, by the way. I'm saying they're not my people. Okay? Does that make sense? Cool. So the answer is yes, but that's okay. Whatever. They clearly weren't going to be my client anyway. They would have taken something else and run, or I would have showed them to the new construction, and then they would have gone back on their own. New construction, a lot of those builders do not honor if the agent isn't present. That is a huge thing that has shifted, so be wary. All right, let's see. Rhonda, can you give examples in the guidebook? Do you keep it fair housing friendly? Oh my gosh, it's so generic, the guidebook. It's so generic because it has nothing to do with the actual things that the person wants. I keep some relevant things that they do need to know about moving to Tennessee. Okay. And all of you should know certain things. And if you don't, honestly, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever, those can help you come up with some ideas. It's okay. But you should know some things that are different about your state, right? Or about the community you serve. Now, everything else in the book is extremely generic. I'm just teaching them about real estate. So for example, I don't have it up, forgive me. I thought I had it ready to go today and I just didn't. I do a lot in Canva and I literally can't remember what I named it. So one of the section is explaining how PITI, everybody knows what PITI is? Principal, interest, taxes, insurance. What is PITI? Okay, right? What is the moving process? What do we do for showings? I'm just explaining a bunch of terminologies with as many pictures as possible. Should I have a home warranty? So I'm taking Q&As that I've gained over the years that keep up. Should I have a home warranty? Well, let's explain what a home warranty is, right? What is an inspection and how does that work? Now, here's what's really cool about having all those things, okay, is I refer people to the book now too. John goes, hey, what should I do about home warranties? Well, John, if you go to page 17, there's an awesome breakdown of home warranties. You probably missed it. No worries. It's going to be really helpful. Come back to me if you have questions. It saves me time, lets them self-study, and also it teaches my client that they can always ask me questions, but I'm going to teach them how to think because I want my clients to be wiser, not just buy the home. I want them to be wise home owners. I want them to be capable individuals that are better off because they worked with me, not just because they bought a home, right? So I will tell John, go to page 17. I put it right there. Hey, so how does the taxes and insurance work? Well, Pamela, were you able to read that part of there? If not, go check it out, and then I'll explain further if it doesn't make sense. And to be honest, I thought about what I put on the page. It probably will explain pretty well for them. It probably do a pretty good job. I want to teach them to read, to think, to reason. Okay? So hopefully that made sense, Rhonda. And yeah, I try to keep it as simple as possible. I cannot emphasize that enough. Um, Something that was atrocious that happened, this is not an insult to Keller Williams. This is an insult to their marketing team. Okay. Is they made this guidebook that is like 100 pages long and it's all text. And agents were so proud of that. And they would send it to people. And I'm like, I guarantee you, the more you send that to people, the less people will want to work with you because you are overwhelming. You are giving them an overwhelming amount of information that makes them cold and kind of, right, defensive almost. Okay. So everything that you put into that book should be as simple and as concise as possible. Right. It's not about filler. There's no like magic number. Well, as long as we get to 12 pages of text, that's going to, no, it's just put the value there as concisely as possible. Wouldn't that all you guys want to? Do you want the doctor to explain every medical terminology in the history of medicine? Or do you want him to tell you the exact things in the simplest way for you to understand so you know what to do next? That's how we all are. Just tell me what I need to know and then let's go. Well, that's a good line. Right? All right, cool. Lauren, I signed a new buyer this weekend off of a strategy Robert provided. Let's go. I love it. Kari, do you have a GPT prompt for the guides? I do not do the prompt anymore. AI used to be heavy prompt reliant. It was all about prompt engineering. It has changed significantly. Prompts are now, or AI is now designed to be conversational. So you need to talk to your AI. So you need to go to AI. I'm going to say that AI is Lauren because I see her on my screen. And so my AI is Lauren. And I'm going to go to Lauren and say, hey, Lauren, here's what I'm trying to do. I've got a client. Sometimes I'll get specific. I've got a client. Her name's Pamela. She's moving from California to Tennessee. And I want to create a guide that tells her exactly what she needs to know about moving from California to Tennessee. And can you ask me some questions on how to extract the best information from that? And then you talk to your AI and build it around that way. The results are significantly better than trying to have a prompt that does it all. It does not work. Trust me, I am compared to probably everybody in the vast majority of real estate, I'm probably the closest thing to an AI expert. Meaning, I'm not saying I'm an AI expert compared to the creators of AI and people who are expert coders and AI, blah, blah, blah. But I'm saying I know AI very well. I've built AI. I code with AI. I design, I write, I do all the things with AI. I know it very well. So let me tell you, when I say the conversation will produce much better results than a prompt trying to do it all. Okay. All right. So I hope that helps a lot, Kari, and makes that clear. Let's see. Anything else? I'm so glad thanks for all the praise, guys. Thank you. It's so important. I just want to know that I'm serving you well. So thank you. Any more questions or anything I can help you with? John, can I share what you sent me, John, or no? Yeah, I can share. John says, I don't send out that book and I'm a KW agent. John understands. Be like John. You're not here to distract people. You're here to serve people. And so many times we send them generic things because we're just trying to pacify our clients. Now, any of you guys parents? Any parents here? I got 2 kids. Okay. Is just doing whatever your kids want just to keep them quiet good for them and their development and their growth and their trust and no, it's not good for them and it's not good for you. Put in the time, do the work. Tish, what's up? How do you introduce the moving package to leads? It just depends on the lead. But to be honest, I don't really care. I'm just going to find a good moment. So again, I just worked with Pamela. I just dropped off the moving package. She was very sweet. Let me take a picture of her smiling, holding the moving package. Some of them won't. That's okay. I find a different picture to take. And then I'll just send it to a lead. Right? It could be a cold, dead lead that hasn't talked to me in 6 months. It could be a lead that talked to me last week. I'm going to reinforce how great I am. And by the way, you should be. I am great. I'm a great person to work with. That's not a bad thing, but let me show you in proof, not words. Let me show you proof that I'm a great person to work with, that I serve you well, right? So hopefully, Tish, that helps you. Super glad you're here. By the way, glad you made it. Nakia, if we want to see a replay, do we go to Agent Alliance? Yeah, we have a YouTube that we put this all out there for free. We'll do the newsletter. Misa, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Oh my gosh, it's 10 o'clock for me. And so we'll drop the newsletter in the chat. You'll get replays. We'll send you the slides. Misa, maybe you can help me find the guidebook too, and I'll attach it in there for you as well, guys. I'm going to try and find that and see if I can put it into the newsletter. It'll go out on Friday, so I have time to write and all that stuff. If you have more questions, jump into our Facebook group too, and just ask questions and tag me in them. And happy to help, and other people will usually dive in and help. Yeah. Oh, there's one more question, Lori. This seems geared toward buyer relocating. No, this guidebook, yes, everything to move to Tennessee, but all the other things we talked about, value propositions, all of that, right? Expired listings that you've reached out to. I can't get that into that today because of time, and I have to be careful of my time. But it's a great question. You're welcome to ask it in the Facebook group. We'll get back to you on that. It's a great question, and we definitely have lots of answers for it. So I appreciate you guys. Have the most amazing day. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being attentive. Go bless someone. Go bless your clients and bring them the most value and the most service you possibly can. And thank you. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.